Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom and I have just witnessed Ipswich Town 0, Sheffield United 1, and it was really thoroughly depressing. I understand that the FA Cup is not of any importance, and I understand that they probably didn't want to replay at all, but just the whole event just felt kind of depressing and limp, and then a bit nasty at the end. So Ipswich, obviously, as we know, have no players at the moment through injury, so normally we would expect some kind of reserve team, but McCarthy had to basically put out what he could. But then comes the big story that maybe now is not the time to go into, that Tommy Smith is going to be leaving to go and play in Colorado, and that he's not going to be risked today. So obviously that's a bigger question in terms of what the hell is happening with this transfer window and how many players are going to be going and hopefully coming. You would hope that the amount that are coming would be either equal to or slightly more than the amount that are going, but doesn't look like it's going to be that way, which is quite scary. So the team ends up being Bart in goal, Swansong, Iorfa right back, obviously Kenlock plays left back and there's no left centre back, although strangely Chambers played left centre back and Knudsen played right centre back, which, given their kick group, I don't know, maybe there's a reason for that. Someone smarter than me can tell me. Connolly was holding in midfield with Brew. Hyam was actually in the row of three ahead, presumably not the most creative player, Hyam, but to rush around and lead what press that there was. Sears to his right, Selina to his left, McGoldrick up front. Chris Wilder makes 8 changes for Sheffield United, but the Blades stick to their 3-5-2 system, which I saw them playing at Bramall Lane in that game. Sharp and Laverty up front. And the normal game for Sheffield United is bustling midfield, wing-backs getting forward, outside centre-backs of the 3 centre-backs trying to get into the midfield as well. And obviously when they're defending, they can do a nice row of 2 wing-backs back and then 3 midfielders in front. So it's a system that works pretty well for them. And I didn't get into the game on time, so if anything happened in the first 1 minute 47 seconds, I can't tell you about it. Selina corner on 5. Chambers heads a goal. Big handball shout. I'm going to plead the 5th on that. I was too far away and I can't tell you whether that was a handball or not. So we'll move on from that. Selina dribble left to right. He tries a long ranger, goes out for a corner. He takes the corner himself. It bounces in front of Chambers. Tries a half volley. Pretty tricky chance. Thomas shoots from outside the area, blocked out. Sharp collects, give him another chance, and that one's dragged wide. It was one of those weird ones. If it had dragged it even more, I think it was Stearman was running in, would have probably had an easy chance. So neither nor there. Nice period, sort of sparked by a Sears run and cross, and Selina has a good one-on-one chance, but McGoldrick half plays the through ball, and we'll talk about McGoldrick half doing most things today. That was a strange performance from him. Short corner, Hyam volleys over. Luke Chambers gets booked. This is the captain for the 2nd time. He got booked at the end of the Fulham game for dissent. He has a good yell at the ref. He's already had a yell at him for the handball shout, so he's presumably having a yell now because he thinks Hyam's shot was deflected. And then on 24, seemingly out of nothing, it's a great goal from Sheffield United, actually. The throw-in gets worked across by Laverty. Thomas gets it. He's quite a way out of the area, and he takes it left-footed. It's a brilliant strike because it goes right in the top corner, and Bart, who we know is a great keeper, has a really good dive at it, and it's still rising. I don't know if it goes barring in the end, but brilliant goal from Thomas. So Sheffield United have got the the breakaway away goal. Now, would they sit on it? Would Ipswich come out? Well, I guess I've already told you the score, so you know the response to that. Kenlock gets robbed. The attack ends with Laverty shooting straight at Bart. Ipswich were down to 10 for quite a few minutes, Connolly, he must have got some kind of bump on the head or the face, because he was on the sideline being treated for what seemed like 4 or 5 minutes. Driven cross in, Sears, some kind of stooping header by him, kind of straight into Blackman's arms. I'm just looking for an Ipswich shot on goal here, honestly, so give me that one anyway. Given away in deep midfield, Basham into the box, gets past Hyam way too easily. He tries to curl it into the opposite corner with his right foot. That's a good chance, and Basham, being more a centre-back or defensive midfielder, you'd think maybe a more attacking player might have been able to put that one in, but good chance for Sheffield United. Selina, lovely ball inside the fullback here. Kenlock gets past him for one of the few times in the game, and low cross, well cleared by Stearman. Basham takes a foul for a high foot on half-time. So at half-time, Sheffield United have the lead. Obviously, on the balance of chances, they didn't have that many, but the 2 chances that Sheffield United created were a glaring chance and a goal, and the chances Ipswich created, there were, I don't know, I need to look at the stats whether Ipswich had any shots on target at all. Half-time, Thomas, who'd gone down just before half-time, he goes out and Slater comes in for him. Bart comes racing out at the start of the second half, doesn't make it. It's played back. Instead of lobbing it straight at goal while the keeper's out of goal, they played it on the floor and goes well over from Lafferty. Ridiculous mistake from Chambers, kind of in a right back position. Lets Regan in, one-on-one. He tries to dink it, falls then to Lavery. Sorry, this Lavery thing's really getting me. Sorry if I keep getting the names wrong. Low drive, and then Chambers is back on the line to kind of make amends for his mistake, just kind of edges it round the post. It looked a bit like Ipswich's heads had gone already at the 48th minute, that it was going to be a disjointed, chasey, frustrating try and get past the block of Sheffield United defenders. 50th minute, Lavery well positioned on the edge of the box. His shot is charged down, and the crowd is starting to turn now. It's getting very sort of murmury, and mistakes are being met by groans, and yeah, just not a nice atmosphere. So 50 sort of to 55 minutes, Sheffield United sit back a bit. Ipswich have a better amount of territory and get men forward. They get possession, but all the shoot cries are starting from the north stand now, because no one seems to have any quality to either play a through ball, thread it through, play a good cross, get people in the box, or take a long range shot on. No quality and no confidence really. So Sheffield United happy to sit back for that period. Hyam goes out, Waghorn comes in. McCarthy said that, well, we'll try and get an hour out of Hyam, and he did. So Waghorn comes into the position where Hyam was, which is essentially the number 10 role when McGoldrick plays it, but when Hyam plays it, it's the leading the press role. Lovely ball through, McGoldrick to Sears. Pretty poor cross by Sears, to be honest. Selina's the only one in there though, because McGoldrick's come deep. Obviously McGoldrick doesn't like being the forced forward like Garner is. He doesn't like being the top man. He likes to drop off. Selina then gets into the box. His cross deflects through to Blackman. Great work from Selina this time. Connolly's got in the box now. He gets up, similar to Waghorn against Sheffield Wednesday, the big jump. It's just a bit too high for him. In comes the attendance, 12,057, which obviously would be the lowest league attendance of the season. And just over there in the car park, there's a whole load of Sheffield United coaches. They look a happy bunch. They bought 1,000 fans, so they accounted for probably, I don't know, 8 or 9% of the attendance as well. Great reverse ball here. Carruthers is in on goal. It's a good chance. They've got the quality to get through. Bart sprints out, makes a really good save there. Good chance for the Blades. Buildup, great run through from wing back, the overlap. He tries to do Bart on his near post, but not firm enough with the shot. So they came out a bit there, Sheffield United, and made a couple of good chances. Donaldson comes in for Lavery. He put in a good shift. Wright is booked for taking ages on a free kick. I thought he was a bit unlucky, actually. he kind of came in at someone else was going to take the free kick. I think it was Lafferty, and he had like 3 or 4 steps back and forward. Then Wright comes in to take it, and he's the one that gets booked. Reminds me, there was a guy at school I used to go, and we always used to have like pencil fights and rubber fights. He would throw one pencil and get caught, and I felt it reminded me of poor Wright there getting booked. A big header forward by Stearman. Everyone stands off Slater, and he puts his shot over from the edge of the box. Sharp goes out and Fleck in, so we have a Fleck at Portman Road, always a pleasure. Huge kick from Blackman falls to Fleck, who in 1 minute seems to have more shots on goal than the entire Ipswich team. He puts it over left-footed. Stoppage time, there's some booing, some nasty chants. Again, Mick McCarthy, your football is, what a load of rubbish, and we're effing S, etc, etc. So the fans really not happy in the North Stand. Professional foul from Carter Vickers after he gets turned by McGoldrick. Bart comes up for the attack, and I don't know if I'm finding everything symbolic today, but was that oh, wouldn't this be an amazing send-off? Go up for the last free kick and head one in. So look, this was really limp, really depressing. One thing about Mick McCarthy's teams is they rely on intensity and fight, and when there's no intensity in the occasion, when everybody knows that you don't really care about this game, that you just want to get through and get some more players back, and that historically we haven't cared about this game, and so then the fans don't come and half the stadium's closed, and no intensity to the occasion, no intensity to the team. Unfortunately, you could argue that they got suckered in the first half. Great goal by Thomas, you know, kind of rare attack. But at that moment, the moment that ball went in the net, really Ipswich didn't look like they wanted to be the team kind of coming on to Sheffield United and go and win the game. So it then just became a depressing sort of lack of quality from Ipswich, and Sheffield United sitting back and picking us off, really. Ipswich, I can't tell you, correct me if I'm wrong, if there was one in the first minute a chance, well, I missed it, I'm sorry. But in the entire game that I saw, no real good efforts on goal at all. So that's very, very disappointing. And Sheffield United, they don't kill you with possession. I got a bit of criticism from some Blades fans for saying in the last game they're just a very functional, well set up team. Believe me, that's not a criticism. You know, in the Championship you'll win a lot of games if you do that, and they do stick to this system. And it was nice to see a kind of reserve team come in and play the same system. They scored a great goal, and they did have other chances from Basham, the one from Chambers, mistake from Lavery, and Buildup got in on the overlap. So they did have other chances other than their goal that were better than any chances that Ipswich had. Obviously the story of the day is what on earth is going on in this transfer window. Smith is going to be sold, so Ipswich now basically have no centre-back. Spence is suspended, Chambers is fit, Webster is not fit. So if he goes, Ipswich need a centre-half urgently before next week. Kiefer Moore's going to be sold to Barnsley early next week. McGoldrick, very, I know it's difficult with McGoldrick because he can score a hat-trick and look kind of lazy and shruggy with his body language, but when it doesn't come off for him today, and he gave the ball away and didn't really look interested, and a lot of people say put him in his best position. Well, he played up front as the one today, and he doesn't like that, and he played normally to the right of the three off the front, and people say, oh, he doesn't like that, and he seems to be a very niche footballer, very specific requirements. Looks like he could be on his way. Sears looks off colour. I'm looking for a positive and I can't find one, and I've criticised Hyam since the Alan Judge thing for being a overly, I don't want to use the word dangerous, Hyam for being a overly committed footballer, and is that all that he's got? And it's nice to have a academy graduate back, but I really can't see what he brings other than a lot of energy and running and pressing, and I don't know whether I'd like to be on the end of one of his charges towards the ball when he is pressing. So Hyam is back. I suppose for Ipswich, Connolly held his position and used the ball well. Selena tried to make things happen but couldn't. So did Waghorn when he came on. So I don't know, give it to Connolly. Sheffield United, nice performance, great goal from Thomas. I'll give their opposition player of the week to Carruthers, who used the ball well when he came forward, had that chance, got forward, and retreated well and defended well when he was there and moved around the pitch well. So I'll give it to him, but decent team performance from Sheffield United. Really, the watchword for today is it's just depressing. I'm looking over there, I'm seeing a happy load of 1,000 guys who've come down from Yorkshire today who are chanting Chris Wilder, he's one of our own. And I'm coming away from the game as an Ipswich fan wondering how many players are going to be sold, and having just heard our fans singing Mick McCarthy, your football is we're effing S, and what a load of rubbish. And although it probably doesn't help doing it during the game, I don't really think you can argue with any of those statements today. So I know the context is different when we come and play Leeds next week. I think there's going to have been a few ins and outs as well, so it's going to be a very interesting week. This time last year it got very toxic after the defeats to Lincoln, or the draw down here and the defeat away on the TV at Lincoln, and then, you know, Leon Best being the replacement for Daryl Murphy, and no one coming in until Dominic Samuel on loan, and it was a bad time, and I hope they've learned the lessons. There's bigger problems here than today. If McCarthy is going or staying, then there's going to be no big transfers coming in, because why are you going to give the money to someone who's going to go? Let's hope this doesn't turn into a big bloody mess. Sorry it's a bit downbeat today. I've gone from being cross and kind of proud at Fulham on Tuesday to just a bit depressed today. So let me know what you think in the comments. Give me a sub if you like the video, thumbs up. If you're an Ipswich fan, is this month going to be a kind of suck the life out of the season month once again, or is there going to be some signs of something good happening? Sheffield United fans, well played. You got the goal and it deserved the win, really. Is a cup run a hindrance to you, and can you get back into real good playoff contention? It looks like a club on the up today has beaten a club on the downer. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you next week. Leeds at home.